It's not hard to do. You do not have to be a celebrity to get this. See this sort of stuff when people are doing searches, this AI, everything's moving to the AI stuff, right? You can see this whole thing. Hey, Kirsten.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Audit.
We have one other person joining, but we can go ahead and get started without her.
All right. Very good.
Yes, thank you. I heard my husband David met with you as well. Really appreciated your insights. Yeah, excited to hear more.
You guys doing well with the links that you have from an SEO standpoint.
Okay.
Probably know. Have you seen any SEO data before on Nobi?
I have. Yeah, we use HubSpot. They have like an SEO integration tool. So I haven't seen this one specifically, but yeah.
You have a DR 50, which is impressive.
Okay.
Rating of 50, which is the amount of juice you have. It's on a log scale. And every 10 points. Oh, here, see, admit. This is probably your other colleague. So it's the sum of the juice that you have, and it comes from about 5,000 links that you have. And these links you have are pretty high authority of other folks say these are great training solutions, SaaS tools. You guys are based in Singapore?
Yeah, that's where we're trying to expand into the US market, but originally it was Singapore. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And our founding hub.
Normally, app companies don't do that well with SEO because the engagement occurs in the app. You have to get people to download. But these links that you have look great. And so the keywords that you rank on, of course, are your name, but these other terms, if you've seen this before. And a lot of it is relatively new. You've been doing something in the last couple months to be able to get more traffic for learning and development terms.
Okay.
When I look at these keywords, of course, like you rank number one, chair. Is it Charis? I'll admit.
Charis, yeah.
Charis, okay. Of course, you rank on your name, and that has the most searches. The number of searches you have on your brand is kind of a measure of how much general power you have. I view it as the best measure of brand, of organic search traffic. 250 people a month, and you get a third of it, which is about normal. And you have 3 SERP features, search engine results pages. I know it's showing up as videos, images, links, other terms, but what I see that could be better is that you don't have much video showing up when you do show up in search.
Okay.
That tells me that a combination of social or repurposing to YouTube or other areas are great when you can highlight customers or highlight app features or highlight news or highlight these templates for how people are learning. When we look at the social shares that are off the site, they're actually doing pretty well. Look, they're almost all coming from yourself. This is a tool that Facebook bought. It used to be way better. And it would show for any URL, it would show who shared it from any of these 4 social sources. So this is, you guys are sharing it yourself. And then this must be like the school that's sharing it. Look at where you have these shares, and this should be part of your community management or marketing or whatnot. These are ones that you should engage on.
In what way? You mean like comment?
Yeah, anytime someone engages on, mentions your stuff, you should say something, right? Or share it back. I don't think you have any on the other ones. I think it's mainly Facebook. Oh no, this one. Who is this guy? Predictions for the future of higher education.
And these all seem like this is 2020. The other one is 2021.
Yeah.
Does that mean that's been the most recent time that we were doing that, or is that just?
It's what the tools are picking up.
Okay. So we have been doing stuff more recently, but has it not been as effective? Is that?
Well, let's see. A lot of Nobis. You got a medium amount of engagement here. I don't see many of these showing up. I did a search earlier for you, and the generative AI is picking you up, which is great.
Well, what does that mean?
It means there's other Kristen mounts too. What we want to show is a knowledge panel.
Yeah.
So we want to show these components. And so if you run our $1 a day strategy for you, for your founder, for other key people, for the name itself, for your brand, Nobi, then it'll show this. So you can see like here, when it's on my name, it'll say like Blitz Metrics or Content Factory or other things. It changes this based on who you are. And you can see there's bio information. People also look for this. Here's my profiles. All this stuff is called a knowledge panel. And Google's moving into this. This is their like reaction to AI driven ChatGPT stuff, right? Instead of just showing 10 blue links, they're showing a more comprehensive result.
Okay.
We want to do that here when people are searching for Nobi, right? You have the 4 site links, which is great, which shows that you're authoritative. The number of site links is kind of an indicator of, do they think that this is also a brand search. It's not like there's a lot of competition on it.
Yeah.
Low keyword difficulty.
You're saying that in an ideal world, even when somebody searches Nobi, they would see that kind of same AI registered panel. So what would we need
Google's rolling this out. You're going to see this more and more.
Okay.
Yeah, this is because they don't want people just going to Bing or these other tools.
What would we need to do to get to that, or we have that?
You should answer these related questions. So anytime you do a search, someone's searching Nobi. So if you're Google and someone's searching Nobi, you're thinking, how do I answer that question? Are they looking for a learning and development solution? Do they want to know more about the company? Do they want to know, like you say here, people also ask, who's the CEO? That seems like the most common question. We can see that answer is here off of LinkedIn, which is good and bad. LinkedIn usually is what shows up when you look for people's names, but you should have names. Like here for you, your LinkedIn is your number one.
It should be on the website, is what you're saying.
It should be not only on the website, but you should also have a personal brand site, KirstenMount.com. At least that should show up here ahead of, when we search for KirstenMount.com, we see the socials, which tend to dominate, then usually like a company about page. Yeah, like here. But you don't seem to have, this is something else. There's a Kirsten 4-light semi-flush mount. Oh, that's interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You just need to send a signal of link all your social profiles to a personal brand site, because the whole thing with Google and search engines in general is based on these entities. There's this database called the knowledge graph. It's all these objects that are linked together. And the object, Kirsten Mount, is a person. So you need to, like, this is you as a person, all of them need to tie to this central entity, which most companies, they don't know any better. They just link to the about page that has you, but that's on a company. So you need to link company entities, especially on social, to a company website. So you just need to make it really clear and simple. You would think Google's super smart and all that, but they actually get confused on this. If we look at links to this this is for you, but there's no links to this page. And this page doesn't really rank on much. It doesn't have any traffic, but you're in charge of creator growth. There should be all kinds of stuff with other creators that are linking to you. And maybe this isn't the page that people want to go to because there's nothing here. Why would anyone link to this? It doesn't say anything, right?
To have fleshed out bios and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's straightforward and links to your top videos. And I saw you had a YouTube that shows up. You want to repurpose that content. If we come to...
And So Young is probably, I mean, she's definitely going to be somebody that's going to have more behind her name than mine.
Yeah.
But we could definitely flesh that out. Do you think putting so you're kind of saying, do a whole page about her with her video?
Yeah, she's got a website, personal brand website, which is good. I imagine that you probably want to grab the one that doesn't have the dash, because people are going to get confused on that one. And then you can see, here's the related searches. When you do a search, this is like literally right under our nose, but people don't realize it. When people are searching for Young, they're also saying this, who's the CEO, who's the head of marketing at EOS, who's that what she did before? Micro learning, EOS. But here, her site has a DR5, which is low because it doesn't have that many links. So the links that are coming in are from here, all these Singapore related terms. Should link from the website, should link from all the socials, should repurpose any content that you have. If we look at her personal brand site overall, interesting, there's more South Africa and US traffic. Not that there's a lot, but this is the whole thing with social media has forced us to build personal brands, even if we're not trying to be influencers. Just because especially in B2B searches, it's tied back to people. And any content needs to have the trust of who is the one who's saying, because people will Google you. That's kind of what happens, right? So then we see videos. Okay, she's speaking at this thing here a couple of years ago on your channel. But if we take this video, which is on YouTube, which is great, and I search for it, I see the video showing up, but I don't see it as a blog post either. Well, anything that's a video should be turned into a blog post. Of course, YouTube is part of Google, but you want to repurpose content all day long. It just sends a strong signal. A lot of people make the mistake of creating content just for Facebook or just for LinkedIn or just for YouTube or whatever. I like the idea of creating content. We have our other participants here. Is it Karis?
Yeah, and Karis is actually that I'm no longer head of creative growth. Passing off to Karis. That's why she's here.
Okay. Well, speak up, Karis.
Oh, you did. This is so
Good learning
fast.
for her too.
Yeah, I was just going to say we're in the process of building out an About Us page because we see even when you look up Novi, I'm sure you guys covered this, the first page that comes up is our About Us page, but there's nothing going on there.
Yeah, you guys have a very simple sort of SEO social media solution here. You just have to feed the algorithm. And I view you guys as like a Ferrari with a flat tire because you have so much reputation and trust because of all these other organizations and places that your CEO has spoken and whatnot that's generated these 5,000 links, customers that are using your tool, that are linking to you as well, which is great. But you don't have enough information on the site. Then when I look at the case studies, these are pretty standard, and you use the term case studies more for B2B, but I like the idea of success stories because then instead of just, because when people see like testimonials or case studies, it's very obviously geared towards promoting the company, promoting your solution. But if you can reframe this instead of just General Mills, because you're not trying to rank on General Mills, you're not trying to rank on Cheerios or something. You want it to be how General Mills achieved this, or how a company in this sector achieved this kind of result in this particular way, right? And then show some more detail about how that is, and don't force people to have to download this case study. I understand lead gen and that kind of thing, but this is a lot to ask for. You want to allow people to, like, I want to know, like, what did General Mills do? I don't have to put in my cell phone number and job title and work email. This is mobile number. I don't have to put all this in just to find out that there's like, you're teasing me. I want to know what else. They just give me more. Don't force me to have to surrender all this information. You know what I mean? Like here, onboarding. Okay, let's see. And there's no links to this either. See, there's no reason for anyone to come to these case studies anywhere because you're not linking to it. Other people aren't linking to it because there's nothing to show. And the only way to get anything is you have to fill out this whole thing.
You're saying if the case study was on the website itself, then you could be.
Or have a video summary of it. Like, I get it. So B2B sales teams, they love to gate everything because they want to generate leads and have these conversations and book a call. But if you're too greedy about it, and you don't give them anything, then why would anyone want to, there's no reason for this to show up. The only reason someone would fill this form out is if they know enough about Nobi, they met some people, they're basically past the point of wanting to read case studies anyway, right? Then let's say training and onboarding for learning management systems for nonprofits. Okay, clearly you want to rank on this. It's H1 here. You have this random image and it goes straight to request a demo. Well, how about a little something about, how about answering this question helpfully about LMS for nonprofits? Do that. And this is where you can use ChatGPT in combination with webinars, video. Let's say that So Young was answering this question here. I would take transcript off of this, turn it to an article, and then figure out how it's either industry specific or problem specific to learning. Why do it through an app? All these related pieces, but the content here is not being repurposed. You understand what I mean by repurposing, right?
I still remember this time.
I think so. Let me clarify. You're basically saying if there's a video here, but I need to embed that video or link to it on the website.
Yeah. And transcribe it. Don't just like embedding it and linking to it is just straight up sharing, which is great. But if you also took some of these tutorials or what other people have to say, these are things that some people don't want to sit and watch through a video. People like me, I would just like to read the text. Right.
It's like all these should be a blog post that has the video, but then also the transcript.
Yeah. This is the 4-stage content factory. So you've produced content here, videos, whatnot. When you process it, meaning you transcribe it or you pull out social snippets or whatnot, then you can publish to the social medias, to YouTube, company blogs, like all this. Any one piece of content can be 20 other pieces of content if you process it. This is a great opportunity because you have all these videos that live on YouTube, but they don't appear to live anywhere else. And where you could have derivative content, such as these case studies or find out what these other companies are doing in their learning and management and training and onboarding, it doesn't, you gate all of it. Then you have some other random SEO issues, like you can see here, micro-learning courses. This is not very helpful. So your meta descriptions, this is like SEO 101 stuff, right? Titles and tags, and I don't even like to talk about that because it's just so basic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But your basic issue is repurposing of content that you have. You have brand trust. People know you. You want to get in other industries. There's not information to convince people to do that just off of this. And then let's see if I search these images with Google. I think this is stock art. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You see, See, this image is being used in all these other random sorts of places, right? That's you understand why that's not a good thing generally, right? So feature one of your nonprofits. Like every opportunity you have to show a real thing, because normally I'll see one of these images and Verizon is using it. And Ford is using it. Just like all these other companies or other IT companies like to use all these people in the conference room, one of every ethnicity, they're all celebrating and they're looking at a chart that's going up. Like that's ridiculous, right? This website is a brochure, right? Higher ed. Think about how you could feature other universities and people from other universities. Maybe the folks who are in charge of training and development. They probably feature them in their stories and quotes. And this is good with screenshots, but when you have an opportunity here for each of these, every single page should have some images that are real and a video or two, because some people want to sit and watch a little video, right? Just like learn a little more. And this is great. It shows you have all these well-known brands, but these guys, they're the ones who did the social share on you. That's cool. But why not like here? Like this is great. Peter, CEO of this university. Why don't show a little face, show a little snippet of him, of what he has to say, right? I think you guys were promoting a webinar. This would be a great opportunity to show some of that. And so you have these huge brands, but why not tell their stories? Why not honor them? I mean, you could literally have a podcast, and So Young or you or someone else could literally, it's just interviewing your clients and saying, what do you think the future of learning is, especially on apps and micro learning and these micro courses, and how are you guys using it? And how should other people in retail or whatever it is, right, do the same thing?
We do have that we're starting a new podcast called Creator Chats.
Awesome.
And we're only 2 in asking those exact questions.
Yeah.
Where would you recommend would be the best place to showcase that here? Under resources or?
Fantastic question. You put it everywhere. Because if you bury it under resources or case studies or the blog or people aren't going there, right? So when we look at your YouTube, for example, I think you had one that you promoted. It's got 20,000 views or something, or maybe it's part of your onboarding that's getting traffic. But these other ones are getting no traffic, right? 11 views, no one's seeing any of it. So we're big fans of taking this content. So the creator chat, I imagine these are short form pieces of content. You just get on Zoom for a few minutes, right? That content starts off here in this first box here, right? Then when you can process it, it can live on the different socials. And you understand, like you only need to make the content once and then it can be processed to live everywhere, right?
Right. Since our podcast isn't video for right now, we want to get there. We would just transcribe it.
Now. Yeah, you need to this is just how it is, right? Because from the video, you can then, of course,
transcribe it
with iTunes and all, and have the video. But video can turn into audio and words and every other kind of content if you start with video. And everyone I know in the last 2 or 3 years, when they have a podcast, they're recording it as video.
Right. Yeah, we have video. So it would transcribe as a blog, and then we use like a server-side recording for social post snippets.
Yep. And we use Descript as a way to do that very easily. Descript is kind of the Swiss Army knife, and it integrates with other tools that allow for the automatic publishing and distribution of podcasts.
That's cool.
Yeah. And from here, you can instantly create social snippets and all that kind of stuff. When you have, let's say that you created this is a framework we call the personal brand manager. It's basically a filing cabinet for assets related to your brand, for Nobi and then for the people. But let's say it's for So Young, one for Kirsten, right? If you take the high authority content, speaking, videos, articles, conferences, all that kind of stuff, like there's one with me debating Mark Zuckerberg live on CNN in front of millions of people. That was fun. That's a high authority thing, right? Mm-hmm. And so you take these things, and most of them, as you see on your site, they just live in the graveyard and no one ever sees it, right?
Yeah.
If you organize it, some people put together a media kit, which is what the PR people do. But if you organize it in this way, by who you're with, all the famous people that you've made content with, and then you organize it, like other people are saying good things, podcasts, all this kind of stuff. These are all the top ones in digital marketing and social. If you're in the digital marketing social space, who these other people are, then you put it in all these other people are saying great things, right? This, instead of it being a case study, these are all the universities that we work with, right? Our stuff's in 800 universities, social media training, that kind of thing. Instead of saying University of Louisville uses the training that Blitzmetrics has, because we're into training as well, but for a different purpose. We're not a SaaS tool like you guys are. We're creating jobs. And so we're highlighting what these other folks are doing, right? And you organize into topic wheels. If we had a topic wheel for Nobi, what would the topics be that you want to be known for? And who are the people that would be on your creator chats or just in general that are authoritative, not just your people, but these top customers that you want to elevate. And when you tell their story and honor them, instead of making it all about you, you have all this kind of content that you can then repurpose. And then this becomes the structure of your content instead of just like, oh, here's our content calendar and here's our like Black Friday special and Halloween or whatever. You organize it around these evergreen themes instead of this calendar day of the week kind of stuff that's just repetitive. So when you tell stories and you highlight them, like how General Mills in this industry, how this retail company achieved this result, and you honor these other people, that brings in the kind of authority that in B2B you're not doing a B2C low price kind of thing. This requires talking to somebody. Then you have content organized the right way. And as you create more content, it can be repurposed into more channels. And then you run ads against it, $1 a day ads against it. Any piece of content that works, you put more money against it. So this is really just a testing strategy against where you're organizing content.
And tell us, I know we're almost at time real quick, but you've mentioned your $1 a day strategy a couple of times. What is that?
So this is a test of whether your content is good or not. So how does Dennis, I'm using ChatGPT here, $1 a day strategy apply to Nobi? Well, first off, let's see if it knows what Nobi is. It should, because it's like a year old. The ChatGPT is a year behind. Man, move this Zoom thing out of the way. We with Facebook ads, but the whole point of $1 a day is it's a testing strategy. It's create lots of pieces of content, and usually 10% of them win according to our 10% rule. If we get 10% engagement, that's a good signal. Then we can test it, turn it into derivative content, testing landing pages, testing headlines, testing all this. Okay, this is micro learning. Okay, yeah. See, this is literally. You didn't even need to ask me because ChatGPT has digested all the articles. I have thousands of articles and videos. I have a bunch of books, and it's read everything, and it is answering as me based on what it understands. This is what I said. Yeah, feature these other people, right? Mm-hmm. Other educators, other people who are learning about learning management systems, and that whole world is complex. All the different tools and technology. It's often relegated to an HR thing, right? Instead of marketing. But yeah, UGC, repurposing, retargeting, right? Whenever you have this, you can repurpose the content. It starts with $1 a day, and then things at work, you put $10 a day, that kind of thing, right? We just started a podcast called, was it Creator Stories? What was it?
Creator Chats.
Creator Chats, which are short interviews with other creators who are training their community. Can I say that? Via their app, the Nobi app. What are some angles Nobi can use to Zoom little windows in the way? Can use to promote and repurpose this content? Their site has some thin case studies, and there is very little video or meat there, largely since it's behind. It's gated. Okay, all right. Isn't it ridiculous how the AI is an advisor? It doesn't replace us, but it's kind of nice. Yeah, cutting it up to snippets. Yeah, quote cards. Yeah, I would do. That's a good idea. Honest video clips. Yeah, pull out the clips. You can repurpose it. See? Repurpose it to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, especially, right? Summaries is what I just told you, right? Yeah. Kirsten, you didn't need me. The thing already told you. Repurpose posts, right? Yeah. Adds SEO value, right? And engage, right? When people mention you, when you post that stuff on social and you tag that CEO or whatnot, they're of course going to want to share it and whatever. And then you engage. Say, thank you so much, and I'd love to have you on the podcast. And I really appreciate how you said this one thing, right? Which is really UGC. I don't believe in the host live Q&A, but I agree with everything else here except for that one.
Right now we have 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7.
Right.
We need to do blog posts. Yes, it's so helpful.
Yeah, just repurpose it through. Wow, this thing keeps going. You see what it's saying though, right? Like, it's not bad, right?
No, these are great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you need to run your content from. You have 6 of these here, and they're all here in the first stage. But you got to run it through all these other stages, and then once it gets published to these other channels, and it's on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and your site, YouTube, then you can use $1 a day against any of them. One of my favorite things right now is $1 a day on YouTube. I can run $1 a day on any piece of content and target people who follow another company, follow another person, watched a particular video, are interested in certain topics, have certain job titles, YouTube, because it's part of Google, you have remarketing. Anyone who's been to my website, I can remarket. You have your tag manager set up. My guess
set it up today, actually.
Okay. My guess is there's no traffic running through it. So here I can see, like, you have the Facebook pixel. Oh no, you don't. I thought you did. It's weird. But yeah, you have your tag manager and other tags that are inside of here, but you need to leverage the fact that people come here and then use these different AI tools to be able to reach out. Like, for example, customers.ai can grab the email addresses of people who come to the website and just find out who they are and then automatically send a personalized email using AI.
No idea.
It's ridiculous. So look, every day I feel like I'm living in the matrix because it comes up with all this new stuff. It's ridiculous. Larry Kim was the one who founded this. He was the largest spender on Google ads and Facebook ads ever. 2% of Google's global ad spend. Yeah. We're estimating that you could be getting a lot more leads by it's basically a hidden email retargeting, because we can find 20 to 25% of the people that come to the site. We can find their email. Here in this case, 20%, which will give us additional 78 off of the number of people we think are coming. Yeah. There's so many
costs.
This costs like $249 a month, free trial, 500 leads or something. It's no brainer. Just put the pixel in and then configure the message you want to send out. Say, hey, this is Kirsten from Nobi, and like, let's say it's somebody from a retail company, Nordstrom, whatever. Hey, I was just at Nordstrom in Seattle last week, or whatever it was. Or just it personalizes email using AI. They'll say, you also have another customer in retail that's like Nordstrom. It's so and so. And they just said this and had a case study. Anyway, love the chat. It feels like a personal email, but it was written by the AI, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm not even amazed by these things anymore, because there's so many tools that do these things. It's like, yeah, of course it does that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. The kind of content to repurpose, and the fact you're making this new video content's great, but you just have to make sure that you are repurposing it all the way through. Otherwise, you're creating content that nobody sees. And what's the point, right? That's the biggest problem in B2B and SaaS, is content nobody sees.
Yeah.
And then you could keep creating more content. But once you get past this phase in the next few months, you should be spending 80% of your time getting more out of existing content instead of 80% of your time making new content. Whenever we see organizations that they're spending most of their time creating new content, they're stuck on the hamster wheel, which is called the content calendar, which is just a waste of time. You just keep making more content every month and ignoring all the things you've already made over the last couple of years. You have so much great content from the last couple of years. Why wouldn't you just spend 80% of your time leveraging that? Flip your time. And that's what drives leads. Because ultimately, you have to be held accountable to the marketing qualified, sales qualified leads that turn into customers, right? Because you have these big brands. I would lead with So Young, and then you guys as personal brands that bring people in. But there's so little of it being repurposed that it just doesn't show up. And you can see how I show up, or this is what you want to. If you do what I'm talking about here, and I'll help you a little bit along the way, this is what will show up. It's not hard to do. You do not have to be a celebrity to get this. To see this sort of stuff when people are doing searches, this AI, everything's moving to the AI stuff, right? You can see this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Other questions? Thoughts?
Yeah, very, super helpful.
Yeah, it gives us a sense of direction of where to start with what we already have, because everything's hidden. So
yeah,
coming up in new initiatives, just actually marketing the old ones.
You're in a great position because a lot of the work has already been done for you. Like you said, it's just not seen. It's locked up and hidden. Why would you lock up all this great information about how companies are using Nobi?
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why you can't be found is because you shot yourself in the foot, or whoever did it before. I mean, it's great to have all these big brands. I would love to hear stories of these big brands. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you.
Was it good?
So good.
Moving forward, if we wanted to follow up with you and stuff like that, how does that all work?
We have this thing that we call our two choices. We have our $1 a day course. I'll give you free access if you want. I think it's like $497 or something like that. Let's.com/DADC. And that's how to implement all the stuff that we talked about, right? And it's not just ads. $1 a day is the whole thing we talked about, all 4 stages of the content factory, including all the tracking and pixels and that sort of thing, right? And there's lots of people that can talk about how they've done it, and I'm well known for this. But we also have a coaching program, and it's 6 weeks of implementation where our people will help you in an agency light kind of way. 6 weeks for $2,500. And we explain exactly what it is. It's basically helping you go through these phases that we talked about. And you get help from our team. There's live weekly calls, but you don't have to go to the calls. You can just ask questions inside our group if you have questions, or you want to schedule one-on-one time with one of our people, that's included as part of it, just to review your ads or review your content, or you have some random question. Those are your choices. You have a free course, and then there is a paid coaching program.
Okay, cool. And what's the pricing for the coaching program?
$2,500 one time.
And it lasts for, what'd you say, 6?
6 weeks. But if you need more time because you're still rolling out your content, we'll extend it. blitzmetrics.com/dad.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dennis. That was super helpful. And I'm guessing, will you send us those links at the end?
Yep. I'll send them to you. I'm going to copy the link and I'll put it here in the chat.
Okay.
Or apply an email too.
Okay. Well, great. Okay. Well, Karis, anything else on your end?
No, I'm encouraged, honestly. Really encouraged to at least see what's.
You have some great stuff. You just literally have this constipation where you have it stuck in phase 1. So if you can get it to phase 3 and then start running ads against it, a lot of your marketing's been done. I mean, that's cool that you're doing this mini podcast, but I'd really spend 80% of your time, because you're not a company that just started, that doesn't have reputation and trust. You have those items. You should lead with that.
Yeah.
Many companies that have an app for this or that you stand out because it's not because you have better features and all that. You have all that. It's because you have the trust of other brands. If I'm a nonprofit or retail or whatever, I'm going to see other people, other companies I respect that are using Nobi, and that's going to be the most powerful thing.
Yeah.
You need to lead with that.
That's good.
Yeah. Not some like $5 app in the app store, right? That's not your thing. Price solution. Organization makes a decision. Everyone in the company uses the tool. Like, it's a different sales process than Duolingo or whatever, right?
For sure.
Your marketing doesn't reflect that.
No, it doesn't.
Obvious. I'm like beating the dead horse. You guys know this, but this is great. You have such a great opportunity ahead. This is fantastic. Shoot, if I was in your position, it's like cheating, because you're set up for a home run, and you've got a strong CEO, but her content's not being repurposed. You got to support her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Very, very helpful.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.